You've heard enough of them now.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
My son didn't introduce me this time by saying my dad's passion is talking, and talking. Because both he and his mother silenced me a couple of weeks back. I'll tell you that a little later on. But first of all, thank you very much for the wonderful gift that you've given me this morning. The gift of your time. Sunday morning you could be doing anything except attending a book launch. But I guess some of you have come here because you probably wanted to hear for the 167th time the insurance salesman joke. But I'm not going to tell you that joke, it is there in the book. So those of you who are undergoing a course in selling with me right now, this is the 8th Sunday of the 9th Sunday, I always tell them, हर चीज तुरंत मत बता देना, कुछ चीजें अपनी मुट्ठी में पकड़ के रखना. So Parag bhai, your suggestion about translating the book in India, I just found the translator. आपके सामने खड़ा है. गुजराती में कहीं problem आए तो I'll probably depend on so many friends like you. Why did this book happen? Today I'm not going to talk much. I don't want to tell you anything about the book, but why did this book happen? In fact, it was at the launch of, in the month of July 2012, at the launch of my previous book, Beyond the Uncharted Landscape, when Professor Koshy just walked into the hall, and honestly, my wife hadn't even told me that she'd invited him. And when he walked in, I was absolutely wonderstruck, because we used to walk into his class looking forward to some great learning. And here is a professor coming in to sit in the front row to watch the release of a book of mine written for MBA students. And most people who know me as a very cool, chilled out kind of a dude know I am like that because I never went to a B school. So it was a bit of an irony. But then he picked up the book, he got me to sign on it, and by noon the next day he sent me a mail saying, I've read half the book, it sounds very interesting. I made him a promise. I told him, Professor Koshy, I've already begun work, and my next book is a book for defeated salespeople. It's a book for salespeople who want to throw in the towel, want to chuck it all up and walk away. And let me tell you, 9.5 out of 10 salespeople go through this at some time in their life. Because victorious salespeople don't read. And that's what most people would like me to believe. And I wanted to write this book for defeated salespeople. He thought it was a very good idea. I replied promptly, and I got a lot of encouragement for this. And so this book happened. I'm glad to say that the book is not only for defeated salespeople, it is probably also for young sales managers who get into a rut, because they got promoted because they sold a lot of products. Sometimes companies make the mistake of promoting salespeople who have sold very well. So they don't keep them as salesmen. And the problem with most people is when they become managers, they think they shouldn't sell. You sell every moment. We all sell every moment. I don't know how many of you got pestered by WhatsApp messages, Facebook messages, and text from me. Some of you came probably because you said, "Bhai, bahut ho gaya yaar, main aa jata hu." So we all sell every moment. And here is this book, which I think would be useful for anybody. And both Professor Koshy and Mr. Sodhi mentioned this. This book is not only for people who want to sell products. This book is probably for people who want to sell themselves. Eligible bachelors, I strongly recommend this book to you. Because there are 2 practical lessons on what to do when you are up against it.
Have you written your experience in this?
Yes. Experience.
Somebody asked me whether this was a semi-autobiographical fiction.
Yeah.
I said, I don't know about fiction, but there is definitely a lot of friction. On a slightly serious note, my son was against my mentioning this, but I thought I should. Exactly 25 years back on this very date, I think this date was chosen, God also destined. I would have liked to have this book launched on the 10th of December, but it couldn't happen. Professor Koshy is not responsible for it. Let him not feel guilty about it at all. He gave me a wonderful Christmas present by the way of the foreword. Couldn't think. Mrs. Koshy gave me some great cake that day, and Professor Koshy gave me the foreword. I couldn't have a better Christmas gift. On the 9th of March 1989, something happened to me in my professional life. I was stripped of a particular designation. My boss told me that I was fit for a particular position. When I asked him what happened, he said, look, you're called the deputy regional manager in this company. You joined exactly 6 months back and we've been watching your performance. And we want to tell you that you're not fit for this position. We want to remove the deputy tag immediately. We want to call you regional manager. Now, this is funny. Now, this general manager marketing, as cool as the air conditioner that company manufactured and marketed. I'm thrilled to have all my colleagues from that team sitting out here. Thank you for coming. What happened was, only 6 months prior to this particular assignment, my joining this assignment, I had been given the ceremonial boot in another organization, a consumer durable giant, where I was told, you can never be a team man, forget being a team leader. So I don't know. What I want to tell you is a salesperson goes through a lot in his life, most people don't realize it. In 6 months, if you can make a U-turn, well, in your entire career, you can make many, many U-turns. I learned this. And the tremendous support, the excellent team, and the kind of camaraderie that I had, we bounced back. And in a company, in an air conditioner company that was known only as an assembler those days, this entire unit was taken to such a level that Japanese giants moved into India and said, we would like to join hands with you. The rest, as they say, is the creation of the greatest cooling power under the sun, as it was, So what I want to tell you is, it's not about a promotion or an increment or growth. It is about the fact that a salesperson bounces back as soon as he is thrown down. Probably many customers don't realize. Do you know most salespeople have a snub nose? Do you know why? Because they have so many doors shutting on them. But the guy comes back. So I think that's another lesson for all of us. I'm not going to dwell much, just a single page from this book because I love this. That's why I put it there. A lot of you would have got fed up of listening to it. A lot of you know it probably by heart. It says, I am a salesman. I am proud to be a salesman because me, more than any other man, built this country. The man who builds a better air conditioner or mousetrap would starve to death if he waited for people to come looking for the product. Regardless of how good or how effective the product would be, it has to be sold. Edison had to install his light free of charge in an office building. Samuel Morse had to plead before 10 sessions of parliament before people even looked at his telegraph machine. People didn't go around demanding these products. They had to be sold. They needed thousands of salesmen, trailblazers, pioneers, and people who could persuade with the same effectiveness as the inventor could invent. As a salesman, I've done more to make my country what it is today than any other person you know. I've educated more people, created more jobs, taken away boredom from the laborer's work, and given people a fuller and richer life than anyone else in history. I've dragged prices down, pushed quality up, and made it possible for you to enjoy the comforts and luxuries of the various products that you use. I made it possible for inventors to invent, for factories to work, and for aeroplanes to fly. Whether in future you live in prefabricated houses or eat hotter, tastier, or faster cooked food or travel by supersonic cars to the moon depends on me. The butter toast that you had this morning for breakfast was in a baker's oven before the farmers reaped the mill, which made it into flour, and the flour was delivered to the baker. Without me, the wheels of industry would come to a grinding halt. And with that, jobs, marriages, politics, and freedom of thought would be a thing of the past. I am a salesman, and I am both proud and grateful that as such, I serve my family, my fellow men, and my country. A note of thanks to quite a few people actually. The man who sits upstairs making things happen for us, we think we do it. All my friends here, Prof Koshy, Mr Parag and Mr Sodhi, for coming once again. These are the best three spinners that the Indian cricket team had was way back. Prasanna, Bedi and Chandrasekhar. They had to be like that. And I'm like Venkatraghavan, standing on the boundary watching them, perform for me. Thank you so much. There is a young man sitting at the end of the classroom. I call it the classroom. Aditya Bharadwaj, who has done all the illustrations for this book. Parag Bhai had given a suggestion, don't just write the book, keep some illustrations. So, in the middle of the night, in the afternoon, at a wake time, I would wake him up, pull him out of bed, and say, "This is the one."
Yeah.
And a product of the National Institute of Design, Aditya Bharadwaj, is a very, a guy who shares his sense of humor. They're very difficult to find such people. Thank you so much, Aditya. Come and sit here.
Thank you.
The cover design and the illustrations have been done by him. The Sri Aurobindo Society, without whose support this book couldn't have happened. Sri Vijaybai Poddar, the man behind the organization, who has never said no to me. Ladies and gentlemen, if my wife were sitting here, she would have said that the greatest super salesman in the world is her husband. I'll tell you why. She says you can't sell to your wife. Nobody can sell to his wife. You can impress all the ladies in the world. And that's what she thinks I do. I don't. That he wanted to do a book on sales. He came to me, but I said, "Ghar ki company hai, ghar ki kitab to koi kharidega nahi," so I didn't agree. So he went to the Aurobindo Society and convinced them to do a book on sales, a spiritual organization and a book on sales. So either the Aurobindo Society wasn't listening properly, or the sales guy is a con man, or I guess most important, which I think is the truth, selling is a highly spiritual process. I think it is about touching people's hearts. Discovering joy is not about the salesman discovering joy. He discovers joy in the end. In fact, he bumbles and stumbles and stutters and stumbles through his career. This book is more about defeat than success, but then success does come. Because it is about the fact that the customer says, "Wow," there are chapters where customers have said, "You made my life." Most people take up a job to make a living. I wish more people take up jobs to make a life. And this is where I want to personally thank Sapna and Ravi Kiran for that much needed stability who keeps breaking all the rules of life. But I think both of them bring in that business of making me sane, keeping that balance and telling me, just because you have finished typing the last word doesn't mean the book gets printed tomorrow morning. Ravi can be excruciating when he works on the book layout. I go through tremendous labor pains when this happens. But then both of them have ensured that what comes out is a product that you people would love to read. This time around, I'm not going to say don't read my book, just read one chapter or something like that. I'm going to say, please read this book for the simple reason that you will probably appreciate what a salesperson brings into your life. Your day can't begin without a salesperson. Your day can't end without a salesperson. And most importantly, I wanted to say this. My earnings from the sale of this book as a co-author has already been pre-pledged for infrastructural, developmental and educational support to youngsters in tsunami hit areas in southern India. So please do it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Unfortunately, Parag has to leave. So